Hello, everyone, and welcome back. It is your Sunday night. I am your friendly neighborhood Prax. Thank you for hanging with us while we dealt with some tech issues behind the scenes, and I fixed my mic so I didn't sound like a gremlin and or Muppet. These are things that happen. But I am your friendly neighborhood Prax. Welcome back to the channel tonight. Tonight is the finale for both Team High Clan and the finale in general of our little Vampire the Dark Ages Chronicle. So we're going to go around, let people introduce them, and say one thing that they have been concerned about going into tonight. Doesn't have to be your character, but one thing you are concerned of going into tonight. And why don't we start with Lynn? Hey, Lynn, welcome back. Thank you for being here.
Hey, good to be here. Hey, everyone, I'm Lynn, Shive, and tonight I am playing Marozia. Toridor, she, her. And you know what? I'm concerned. There's a lot. Actually, you know what? There's a lot less concerns coming in than the end of last session. So thank you, Low Clan, for doing what you did last session. But there is a I'm curious. What the hell was the ritual? I want to know what the ritual was. On the boat. Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see.
I am
Maybe.
I am thankful for the botched diplomacy role for Low Clan. That's saved Maurizio a lot of trouble.
I mean, did it?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe.
But thank you for being here. We appreciate you. And hey, Dan, how are you?
I'm good. Frankly, my only concern is that Lord La Sombra has waited perhaps too long for his next meal, and I suspect one way or another that will be resolved tonight. So good times. Very excited for the final outcome of how everything else will go. Also very excited because I believe at the end of our last session I did send a little shadow demon to kind of keep an eye out on the person who had a very interesting encounter with Team Low Clan last week. So excited to see the fallout for all that.
Yes, indeed. You did indeed send a little thing to watch him. But he had an interesting encounter. Team Low Clan made their self an appearance last week. Violently, I guess, and with a mess, shall we say. But they did manage to make sure that somebody is very dead and in pieces. And then there were a bunch of other mostly dead individuals, all of which had been delivered to your dear friend George. Because George is, a forthright and upright individual, a positive personage, a person that someone perhaps might rely upon, even, you might say. But they brought to him the remains of one Ludovico in a burlap sack. And for young female presenting individuals who all kind of fit a general type, who had all been staked through the heart with white blindfolds across their eyes and a white ribbon around their left wrist. And then they JTFO'd, basically. They're like, we did our job. We're done. Went back to Syracuse and left this for you all. And I mean that quite literally because George would have promptly um, contacted both of you
Mhm.
because you are currently both, well, Siraj because you are La Sombra, and they claim that this was for Lord La Sombra, so, if you know anything, good for you. And
Mhm.
Marozia because you are currently the unofficial, although probably soon to be official, Harpy. So, that herald position, the hostess with the mostest, knowing, contact you and let you deal with informing the prince about all of these problems.
Hmm.
So a messenger had been sent very quickly to you. So now the question becomes, there's a Billy. Even perfect timing.
There we go. Yay!
Hello.
So the messenger had been sent to you to inform you of this incoming, shall we say.
Incoming.
Oh, dead bodies.
Mhm.
Oh, the influx from the influx
No.
Well,
of the church is investigating those
Oh,
ones.
no.
More new ones.
More
Great.
new body. Well, I mean, mostly.
They're mostly dead. Well,
I mean,
four of
there's
them are
one.
mostly dead.
What does that mean?
So
Well, let's.
your herald, your harpy, your unofficial, hostess with the mostest knows all the details to tell you about it if she chooses
Do I know
to.
the details?
Well, I mean, George would have told you what he had been told, right? Like, here is the burlap sack full of individual who probably released a demon, and we're gonna claim it so.
Does he?
The bounty hunters are going to let Lord Lasombra know and are claiming his ship as part of their,
Good. The ship can
spoils.
leave. Yeah, that ship can go.
You don't like that ship, Marozia?
Not really.
You don't feel connected to that very, very strong artistic
Well,
expression.
it's a little too close to home for
That's a little too. I
Mauritius
mean,
taste.
that's
Yeah, it's a little.
that's fair. That's fair. So
I
you
think in
have
the.
burlap sack of remains,
Mhm.
mostly skeletal. Although I did use this
Is there a
quote last week.
face? Yeah.
Here's the thing. No, there isn't a face.
Damn it.
There was a gangrel. There is no face.
Yeah.
So there, as I said, so Billy, you have not played Vampire before. So one of the things about Vampire the Masquerade and Vampire Dark Ages and the world of White Wolf is that when a vampire dies, how much of it remains depends on the age of the vampire. So, like, a vampire who's like maybe only been dead a year will probably have a pretty normal corpse. A vampire who's been dead a couple hundred years, and maybe a couple skeletons, like elders might turn fully to ash. But there's a grading scale depending on the age of the vampire. As I said and quoted the most important of all films from the 90s to last week, you know that scene in The Mummy with Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz when they open the tomb, the sarcophagus for the first time, and Imhotep pops out, and she's like, I've never seen a mummy that's still juicy. Picture that in a burlap sack with no face because you had a gangrel who got upset and frustrated and just literally ripped his face off.
We couldn't find the face. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it didn't remain. And then also the 4 mostly dead bodies of young women, all of whom are vaguely tan-ish, but kind of run that gamut from Middle Eastern to North African to Italian or Greek, Persian, maybe North Indian with dark curly hair, and you can't quite see their eyes because they're all covered with a white blindfold, and they have a white ribbon bound around their wrist. They're all staked. And George has brought this to the attention of your unofficial herald and your unofficial mystic, which is actually a court position, right? Like having a mystic on your attached to your court is a very common thing. Usually they're, Malkavians, but everyone understands that a true Bruja and Malkavians have some issues.
It's good that we have someone that deals with this sort of thing.
Exactly. So George brought this to the attention of your court to inform you of Sir Prince. And then, as he said, he promptly has left this in your court because he knows that it's a ritual, and he knows if he does something, it could make a very big mistake, and he doesn't wish to make a mistake. So here you are, Marozia. 4 dead bodies and a burlap sack of body-ish things.
Yeah. All right. So Marozia has like a excitable nervous energy when she sees, like, she's very interested in it and just like really can't wait to make confirmation if it is who it is. So she's going to it's like, well, this is certainly either fortuitous or both counts. Seems like there's some terrible business happening on that ship. And perpetrator is here. But I would like to confirm and make sure. And she'll walk up to it and just kind of, she'll have one of her servants to like dump it on the ground. Just dump the burlap sack.
In front of your prince, or just in general?
I don't think she cares at this moment, really. There are some things that, like, there's protocol, there's like manners, but this is personal. And she wants to know definitely if it's him. And if it means like badly treating his remains, then so be it.
I'm just asking for, a general location question. Are you doing this before or after when they first get to you, or before you tell your prince that they're here, or after?
After.
Okay. So everyone is seeing this as you kind of tell your servant to dump it out onto the floor of your court room. Oh. I have to fix. There we go, Tybalt. You had the wrong name. So Billy, there is now a juicy, mostly skeleton individual that's been kind of folded up into a burlap sack and without a face. Very strong claw marks that have removed said face.
No, I don't strike any of you as a very smart man, but this must be a message of some kind.
Oh, George would have told you that the bounty hunters turned this guy over because, he probably released the demon. They killed him for you. You're welcome. And the gangrel just made a mess. Sorry.
A glorious mess.
Do.
It is.
That is a convenient mess to make. Is there a way that we can confirm that this is the person that let out the demon?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. And she's kind of like pacing around it.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything natural or supernatural that I could identify if this is really him?
Because of who you are, yes,
Yeah.
there is.
Yeah.
So you could roll me
Oh.
perception, empathy.
Okay.
You could roll me perception, empathy because of who you are. And anyone else who wants to do any other form of determining if it is the individual who released the demon could roll me perception, occult.
Okay.
We'll do that.
Perception, empathy. Okay.
But
You
also wanted to. Oh,
Hmm?
sorry, go on.
Marozia gets to roll perception, empathy because of your connection to this individual.
Okay.
And it's specifically, there isn't really, what I'm looking for isn't really kind of there, but we'll work with perception, empathy.
Okay.
Anyone else who's trying to determine if this is actually the person who released that that demon could roll perception, occult.
Wanted to ask, so have I had time by now, I'm guessing hopefully
Jesus,
yes, to kind of get an update from my little watcher demon
You
abyss creature?
did get an
Okay,
update.
so I generally know more or less what went down during the fight.
You
Like,
do. You know exactly how the fight started. You know that it kind of seemed like it began with a someone attempting to have a peaceable conversation, and then insults were thrown.
Things went very bad very quickly. Yes.
You didn't get a full color commentary, but you did get,
Oh, too bad.
a nice crib notes.
Understood. All right. So I'm already aware, at least on a base level, like person in bag is person who was on ship, who we were keeping an eye on.
Yes.
So, all right. Separately, let me make that roll myself real quick before I forget. So you said perception plus occult. Okay. Next is
So with
holy shit.
Oh shit.
that's
Holy
five.
shit.
That's 5 successes, and you have 2
Oh,
10s to
boy.
roll.
Let me roll them. Okay. Well,
That's
5
still,
successes.
I guess
still great.
yeah,
Jesus.
cool. Yay.
So
I'll take it.
with 1 success, Marozia, it could be. You know that your connection to Ludovico has been broken.
Mm-hmm.
You are aware that Ludovico is no longer undead.
Mm-hmm.
Is this in this corpse that's just been dumped out onto the ground before you Ludovico? His face has been ripped off. He doesn't really have any further identifying features. He's the right height.
Mm-hmm.
But, you can't really determine weight because it's an emaciated mummy that's still juicy. Right? Like, all of the possible identifying characteristics. And there's no blood. So you can't use that to determine. And the scent is close, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's so much ocean on top of it, the scent of the sea, that there's just this underlying hesitance to confirm that this is indeed, in your mind, Ludovico. With 5 successes, Siraj, there is no hint of the abyss on this corpse. But you do know that this corpse was Ludovico.
Yeah.
But there is no scent of the abyss anywhere near him.
So what you all see is Siraj, kind of approaches the carcass really more than a corpse at this point.
Yeah, basically.
From the side. And as he's approaching, he's kind of doing like the little detective circle around it, and the shadows around him seem to, no matter, even as he circles the carcass, regardless of where any torchlight or any other light is hitting him, his shadow is always leaning towards the carcass itself, as his focus is completely on it. And he's talking almost as if out loud. He's like, well, I understand that it is very much the man that was on the ship, my prince. We were keeping an eye on him. I, for one, set my own little servant, and he kind of motions off to the side, and you all see like in one corner of the room, the shadows just get really dark, and it's like, and that's it. That's like the only concession he makes to it. He doesn't even look at it, and he just keeps talking as if that was a perfectly normal thing to do. Uh, and he goes, so I can at the very least confirm that it is in fact the man we were watching and my primary suspect. That is the good news. The excellent news: these mercenaries have done, in fact, if and he at this point he does pause, kind of looks at have the other corpses have been kind of laid out, or at least like pointed out, like the state corpses. He's like,
Well, like George would have transported them carefully because, again, he knows that they're tied to some sort of ritual.
yes,
He also knows it can go
yes,
very, very badly if they get messed up. So he transported them each of them on their own individual litter, draped in such a way that it looked as if he was moving, preparing corpses for a funeral. Nothing that would draw attention from the guards of the city.
yep. Yes, Suraj goes, pauses, kind of at that point, does look over the course, goes, the actions that I am well aware, or at least convinced he had already taken before, were enough to warrant this, and whatever he has planned with that, I'll take a look shortly. And then he turns back to the carcass, kind of kneels down, and reaches out as if he was going to touch it, and his hand hovers right above it. But much to my chagrin, this is not the man I am looking for. Not at all. And he without looking at Marozia, he's like, you're certain he is the one that gave you the box, yes?
He had it sent to me. He didn't give it himself. Are you that's him?
Oh
Are you
yes, no,
sure?
that's and he does kind of at this point motion again to that dark little corner from which you see just little tentacles like start kind of, for lack of a better word, slurping out of the shadow. And I was like, yes, my pet was watching it. See, saw the whole thing. Honestly, it went from, how do you say, from hello, how are you, to I have your face in my hands now, very quickly.
And she'll kind of smile. Like, well, I wish they had stayed so we could give them the proper reward for this.
They seem thrilled enough, from what I can tell, to just have a free boat.
Well, hopefully we won't need it to figure out what's wrong with them, but Marochio will kind of like hook her finger underneath the cheekbone and just kind of lift it up. Nothing. And let's kind of hold up the head. If the rest of the body comes for, why not?
I mean, what's your strength score?
Nothing. It's not human level strength. Not even. She doesn't have.
Okay, so in that case, the skull does not detach.
Okay, that's fine.
So it picks it up and it will pick up the rest of
She'll kind of like she's just kind of holding it up. He had to do it. Are there ways of doing it that you don't have that? Scent on him. Like, he is manipulative. He is thorough. Are there ways?
And I am not saying he is not entirely innocent. Perhaps he gave the order. You say he had the box delivered to you. Well, perhaps he coerced, made, or paid somebody else to make the thing and bring the thing to you. So It's entirely possible. I unfortunately do not know, but I do know at least one thing for certain. He was not the one that put it in the box. That kind of work, it leaves a mark on a man. That mark is not here. And at that point, Siraj kind of like, he's done with this corpse. He doesn't have an emotional connection
Yeah.
to this guy at all. So like he just turns away, and now he's like laser focused on the staked corpses, and he's gonna
Yeah.
just
I
be
think
looking at them and lightly poking as necessary.
Nemrotis is still kind of looking at it and doesn't look at the corpse. And what about those? Do you have any idea what he was doing with that? And do you think it's tied to to the box at all?
That's what I'm
So
trying to figure out.
you can roll me. You can roll me perception. No, in this case, it's a little bit more. You can roll me intelligence investigation, but you can add 2 extra dice from your success with the perception occult.
Fair. All right, that's a pretty good one for me. Let's see, investigation. What's my investigation? Oh man, it's basically okay. Cool, excellent. This is a very good dice pool for me. Let's see if it behaves well.
Oh,
Not shabby.
Well,
Not a lot of successes, but
3
no
successes
ones
plus
and
a
a
10.
10. Oh yeah. All right. I've been going over the Curseborn system, mine, so I'm focused on just 8s and aboves. So like,
No. I've been looking
so
at
sorry.
yours
So
more
one
too.
more. Yeah.
So 4
Okay, there we go.
successes.
Nice.
nice.
So 4 successes is very good. They are tied to a ritual. It is not abyssal.
Got it.
It is, for lack of a better term, kind of like Tremere blood magic,
Oh,
but it's lacking in that mage factor, right? Like Tremere blood magic and blood rituals are all tied to an understanding of mage from a mage, right? They started as
Right.
mages, they kind of still are trained in a similar way, they understand magic in that same kind of way.
There's a hermetic tradition
Yeah.
to the way it's presented. Yeah.
This is much more ritualistic folk magic, right? Like this is something that could be theoretically is based in the same kind of magic that any folk practitioner would do, right? Like binding only the left wrist to bind them to him, right? The left, for a variety of mortals understanding. The taking of the fate, blinding them to blind someone's perception of him. These are all, by the way, stand-ins for another individual who perhaps he was looking for dealing with in particular, but it's similar concept of like sympathetic magic like Voodoo from our modern understanding, but it's a much more like Slavic approach to folk magics, kind of, almost. It almost reeks of a little bit of a dragon, but like somebody's bastard understanding of reading a book and then reading it, being told about the book and then using that understanding to do something. So, like a game of telephones under approach to, say, a dragon's ritualistic control of someone with a blood tie.
Gotcha. So so as Merotia asked the question, like it says related to that, Siraj again kind of doing his creepy circle thing around them, occasionally leaning down and then giving a light poke, and he's like, what this is a ritual. It's old. It is magic, but not like the upstarts do. This is old magic. This is it's not nature. It is more than nature. It is the pure, the understanding, the rawness that there is to it. It's primitive. It's what it is. It's crude. Look at this. It is like There's no real art, but I can tell you there is probably a lot of passion here. Whatever it was for, whoever it was meant to, I'm gonna say control. I think control is a good term for the flavor of this particular type of ritual. There was a bit of a devotion there to getting what they wanted. Not a lot of style, perhaps, but definitely a will to get things done.
You would also know that George was correct that attempting to just revive them by pulling the stakes out would, it's kind of like they're the conduits for this sympathetic magic, and it's like if you just pull the cord, it would be like just pulling the wrong portion of a
Mhm.
jump of jump cables at the wrong time. Too much
Mhm.
energy, destroy, make big boom. You have to
Yeah.
kind of turn it off and then disconnect them, kind of thing.
Yeah. So Siraj pauses like, you really shouldn't pull anything. The magic, whatever it is, and again, I do not know where it is going, some kind of control, and that is why I am not pulling any of these stakes. And Prince, my prince, oh prince, I suggest none of your people do so until we know what effect that could have. But that is the end of the good news, because unfortunately there is no touch of the abyssal again on any of this. It is unrelated to. It is the prince's problem, and I suppose that makes it mine, but at root it is not mine.
That is a lot of information, and I don't particularly know what to do with it. The bounty hunters did a good job. And there's potentially some shitty dark magic involved. What am I supposed to do with that?
I mean, we should look into it, figure out what else he was up to on this island. And unfortunately, if he did summon it, not from here, or had someone else summon it, it's entirely possible it is on the mainland. Back in Rome, unfortunately. Most likely. Where he's based, where he comes down here.
That is an unfortunate conclusion to reach. Is it one that perhaps, my fellow friend and council member, you would be willing to explain in front of Lord La Sombra, should he ask, as a reasoning as to why we have not brought him, the person responsible for this demon? Perhaps he will be kind and give us time to go and search for this source. Would you be willing, perhaps, to stand before him and say all of this?
What choice would I have? I feel like now that I'm responsible for much more than I was initially, there's things that I have to answer for, and that is one of these things. So, I think the best thing to do is to be as transparent as possible and bring these corpses to Lord La Sombra with the information that we have.
I can do little less but bow to my prince's wish here. And I wish I had another path to present, but perhaps, well, if nothing else, I would be very, very pleased to have the backing of both the prince of the city and, of course, my fellow council member before the Lord. And with that, Siraj is feeling, about as prepared as anybody could be to present some level of findings. He's like, all right, look, there's a 50-50 chance this guy left the city. There's a 100% chance if I try and leave the city, it will not go well for me. But I think if I sort of present a, hey, progress report, have not been sitting on ass all this time, Lord La Sombra.
So you're
Then
going with
it's still a 50-50 chance,
You're going with the, hi, I know I didn't make the deadline, but
But
there's progress.
Exactly.
Is that what we're going with? Just so I know.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I mean, basically, yeah, it's like, hey, we've come to the conclusion that the source is not in the city. It would require travel outside. There's, I my skills are many and varied, but teleportation is not one amongst them. There's no way I can get to Rome, and continue this investigation in time for the deadline.
So what you're asking is for an audience with Lord La Sombra for the entire group.
It's like
Okay.
we've been given a mission. The prince just stepped up and offered to present the results of this task. Asked the new prince, like, hey, I just started, and here's what I'm doing, right? And Siraj is well convinced that Marozia would be a lovely witness to all of this to present.
All right then. So I take it you're going on a road trip.
I believe we are.
Yeah.
Cool. Luckily,
You don't tell Lola Summer to come to you, I don't think,
Yeah.
Lord La Sombra hasn't left his castle in 150 years. I don't think he's going to suddenly start doing it just for you all. Sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
This does not make house calls, it turns out.
Does not indeed. So I need somebody to do me a favor and roll a D100.
What's it for? Okay, never mind.
It's called Cthulhu rules. Rolling low is better.
Hey, well, let's see.
So who's rolling it?
What's it? What's the roll for? Because I feel like
It's a state of the world roll.
oh,
Low is good.
I'll do it.
I need
You
to
are the
determine if
prince.
something is happening.
There you go. As the prince,
Oh,
this is your
no.
responsibility.
I'd like to use one of my inspiration. Oh shit, it's not D&D. Damn it.
Sorry, wrong game.
Oh no.
But you can use a willpower. I'll let you re-roll for a willpower.
Oh, I got plenty of that.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Do we have to keep that one? Holy, oh boy, that's no.
I'll let you re-roll for another willpower.
Let me see how many I've got left.
Plenty, you said. Plenty.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it.
Hey.
I clicked it. I don't want to click it again. Oh no, you gotta be kidding me.
I
It
love
says
this. This is
it's
great. This is great.
94. Listen,
So,
here's the thing. The universe has clearly decided.
yep, the universe is clearly
Yeah, let's just
decided.
let's if we
So-
you know what, if we roll it again, it might be 100. We don't or
That's the way it's trending.
Yeah,
Yep.
if we roll it and we get 100, that's it. No, Lasumber does in fact come to us. This is not good news.
the number was in a rush.
So, there is I'm assuming you're going to have to prepare slightly to do this travel, right? It's going to take a couple days of travel in the best
I mean, the
of conditions.
the deadline was a couple of days. So
The deadline
at
was
best,
4, you had 1.
yeah, exactly.
So, you know, the being on the road, he might have given you a little bit of crap about, but if you're coming with a dead body, he might have been okay with.
I mean, we are kind of bringing him a dead body, but
yeah,
it's not the dead body.
But here's your one problem, and this is what the what D100 roll is for. You are going to have to reroute because Etna is not happy.
Oh, roll
And
for
while there are
Etna.
many
Right.
things a vampire can deal with, volcano
No, it's
is not your friend
no.
in any way, shape, or form.
Does make for good crops later, though.
It does. It does indeed. And a lot of people on the island of Sicily are very not fond of. Fond of is the wrong word. Appreciative of, and at the same time stressed by, and at the same time occasionally annoyed by. So Etna is currently exploding, which means you will add 3 days to your travel because
Oh,
volcano.
I tried. Guys.
So here's the question I'm going to ask. As
Mhm.
I hold please. I need to change the mood light. The mood filter. I need an appropriate filter.
I don't know. That one felt pretty appropriate.
No, this one. There we go. Go. There we go. Add a little. Not quite. Here, this was better. And you know, it is the Castello d'Ombra on the eastern shore of Sicily, about I think it's like 20 kilometers northeast or north along the shore from the island, the city of Syracuse, is the Castello d'Ombra, Castle of Shadows, on a hill cliff overlooking the Mediterranean, kind of on its own little islandette, connected only by a single bridge from the Sicily to this islandette, single large tower, a couple branching towers off the side, a strong structure that you can see pieces of it dating back to the Greek period. Even the Phoenicians had some influence on the architecture, and now a strong caliphate presence in the crenellations, the lattice cut work on the windows that you can see, the swells of ocean water and salt water coming up over the rock as it towers by itself. There's an eeriness to this island as you approach. How are you approaching? Did you ride, or did you take a carriage? How did you leave Palermo?
I mean, I'm guessing on a carriage of some
carriage,
kind.
yeah.
Yeah. Siraj should probably have leaned on Marozia
We
a
can't
bit on
have.
this.
There are standards we have to observe for the prince.
Mhm.
So
Your
best,
prince is 9 feet tall.
yeah, we'll make.
A carriage with a little hole in the top.
Yeah, just
Just Tybalt's head.
it's like an ostrich.
Does it have
Like
a
a
little
giraffe.
dome on it so we can go
Yeah.
around the
I mean, we can probably make something work. Extend the top of the thing. It's a day.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Not going to be super comfortable, but it has to appear dignified.
Dignified. Okay. Okay. Then can you roll me appearance? You know what? This actually makes the most sense here. Roll me appearance seneschal.
Hell yeah. There we go.
Roll for being dignified.
Hey,
3 successes is not bad.
Yeah.
yeah.
You do manage to modify a cart more than
Mhm.
an actual carriage, right? To give it a little like added
Yeah.
structure to carry his body weight.
Mm-hmm. This is going to this is a precursor to a lot of problems we're gonna have dealing with how tall this man is.
Mm-hmm.
But
And
there's not a lot of problems that, nice fabric can cover a lot of shortcomings that we have to put together relatively quickly. So
oh yes, there's some very nice plush reds,
Mhm.
nice thick velvets and silks.
So they won't know. Yeah, so they won't notice like the rush job of the inside because no one's gonna look inside. As long as it looks good from the outside, it's fine. It might
Yeah,
not
and
be the
it's
most comfortable. There might not be like the most. He's probably gonna bang his head a few times in the thing.
yeah, you maybe like took the bench off and kind of just put a pile of pillows to sit in,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So he,
Which
kind of doesn't have to hit his head repeatedly.
we are trying to brace the cart as well as get rid of any sort of balance like the load bearing with the weight on the horses.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Certain certain cuts need to be made.
Sorry in advance.
No. we had to
Oh,
mod
here-
a cart for the 9 foot tall prince.
I also have another question. How goes your what is the prince wearing to greet his vassal lord, his liege lord, excuse me?
There's not a lot of new clothes that he got in a day. So unless we can doll up some rusty, ill-fitting armor.
I mean, you could
We could we could have like washed the armor, prettied it up, you know,
wash the
shined
armor.
it,
You
shined.
could even have with that role, you could even have encouraged your prince to embrace a more Roman aesthetic. Togas, man. Tunics. Easy things to modify to
Yeah, I think we want to keep to the princess aesthetic. It's not gonna do. He's still new at this, so we're gonna keep him comfortable. So we're just gonna keep his aesthetic,
Mhm.
but just kind of court ready is what we're.
Yeah, you've cleaned things, you've kind of got
Mm-hmm.
like new, a new cloak at least,
Mm-hmm.
surcoat kind of thing. It's something easy to modify.
Mm-hmm.
But as you come in this cart to this bridge, which is the only way onto this island, that the tower of this.
Oh shit.
I need a roll from Marozia.
Oh
I
god.
need a. Hold on. Which one do you have? I need a.
It's not gonna be great.
Do you which? Hold on. I need to make sure. I need to see which one you have. Hold on.
I think it's
Oh, it's
it's
self-control
bad.
and willpower.
Okay.
Self-control and willpower to avoid frenzy.
Okay. Okay, 4 and willpower. Where's willpower? Oh, there it
It's
is. Never
wait,
mind.
wait,
Never
wait,
mind.
wait.
There.
Have you recovered any?
I don't think I have.
Nope. So you've spent it all, so you don't have any willpower dots.
Did I spend it all?
That's what the X's mean underneath.
Oh.
Did you put in there?
Oh wait, I thought those were full. Or those were
No.
okay.
The dots above are the ones that you have. The X underneath is you spending them.
Oh, I spent like two.
Okay, so then
Two
there
of
would be
them.
two.
Okay, I thought it was just like
No.
okay. All right. That makes wait. So the X's are the blood pool?
No, the blood pool is below it.
No, I mean like the X's. I mean you have blood.
Those are the ones that you've used, yeah, basically.
Okay.
But in blood pool, it means that you have the ability. In willpower, it's showing you that you've used.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I understand how that can be confusing in this lack of layout, but welcome to
Okay.
White
So
Wolf.
all right. So 5. Okay.
Well, that's
3.
3 successes. You don't frenzy.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
Going over.
How far? This is still gonna hurt like a ton.
I mean, you're far enough away. You're above the water by a good 40 feet.
Is there a height limit to which like the thing, or is it just the spirit of running water?
It's the spirit of running water.
Okay.
So it doesn't. It's gonna. You're gonna be uncomfortable,
Yeah.
but you're not frenzying.
Mm-hmm.
And you is obviously uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Anyone else in this carriage with you is fully aware that you are not happy to be going across this body of water.
I think Tybalt has seen this before.
Yes. Tybalt has seen it before.
Mm-hmm.
When Tybalt had to carry you. And you know, you had a box that you threw at someone.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think Siraj saw it.
No,
Siraj,
I did not
are
see
you
that
in
event.
the carriage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Presumably, yeah, he would be inside. I don't. I mean, he's as opposed to our prince, he is the complete opposite. He's a very slight man. This is a mere wisp of a fellow. So really, he's been in the carriage the whole time. Just you don't notice him a lot.
Yeah, it's easy to overlook him. The prince's commanding presence kind of dominates the space.
Yeah, he's literally in the prince's shadow.
Okay, moving on. Sorry, I had thoughts. I'm gonna keep them to myself for right now.
But yeah, I think for Emeraldi, I think it is like physically too. So there's gonna be like nosebleed, maybe a little bit from the eye as well. Like when
Like blood vessel burst, but you kind
Yeah.
of bleeding. It's not quite bleeding, but you can kind of see the redness in the.
Yeah.
Which is like a small trickle from the nose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I believe it. As you approach up to this castle in the dark, and it seems as you cross this water to get darker. The shadows lengthen. Siraj, for the first time in your memory, your personal shadow seems to be calm. Right? Like, it's not like he got kidnapped when you had that problem with the box or anything like that.
Right,
no, it's
right.
just your shadow is chill, calm, acting like a normal shadow, sort of. But it's heavy in the air. The scent of salt water mixes with the decay of seaweed on the shore somewhere below you. But there's also a hint of otherness in the air. A hint of something else. And as your carriage pulls to a stop, and your coachman comes down to open the cart door, the little box, right? Like he gives you, a little step for Marozia and Siraj, and he puts it there. There is a great crack of thunder that echoes through the air, but there's no lightning to go with it. and a door creaks heavily. That sound, people talk about creaking doors in old haunted films, but there's a different kind of creaking from wood that's been exposed to salt water for decades. Kind of creaking you get from an old ship. The shifting of boards on one another, the alternating swell and contraction caused by that much moisture in the wood. And this door creaks like that. You hear the hinges strain under the weight of the door. And the shadows lengthen around, out the door, around the sides of your carriage. You feel the darkness overwhelm your space. There is no moon above, no stars. Welcome to Castello d'Ombra. And that's where we're going to take the break for the evening.
Yay.
Yep. We're going to be right back, everybody. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We're going to have some fun, and we're going to have some people meet a personage that is a unique individual. But stretch,
Oh,
bio,
no.
refresh. We will be right back, everybody. Welcome back, everyone. We hope you're refreshed, you stretched, you bioed, you did all of those great things as we return to the second half of tonight's finale. And our wonderful court from Palermo has made a decision that they are going to visit and plead their case directly to Lord La Sombra. As you approached the darkness itself overwhelmed you, and a figure stood at the top of the steps in this open doorway. Not tall. 5'7", 5'8". Distinguished. Tan. He stands in the shadows and waits for you all to come inside.
Siraj in particular would like murmur, like under his breath to manservant Hecubus and have him like, hey, take care of the luggage, basically, including the assorted remains that we have brought. And otherwise, he'll approach just up to the kind of to the edge of where like the shadows begin around them, and not quite kneel completely. He's not before Lord Lysombra directly, but sort of like presenting like a pose of supplication, if you will. Would basically present himself out of character. I don't know like what the sort of official greeting is supposed to be amongst sort of,
Yeah, I mean,
if there is one, but whatever the traditional sort of like, you are amongst the, like royalty, and I humbly present myself as requested kind of vibe.
yeah, you are acknowledging the fact that you were summoned and you have appeared, and you know that this individual is not Lord Lysombra, right? Like, Lord
Exactly.
Lysombra is not opening the door and greeting you.
Right.
And you, as you get closer, you can distinctly see the very chiseled jaw and appearance, the very light beard that he wears, and the longer hair he has. And how familiar are you with the court of Lord Lysombra? Just in general, the hierarchy, the people that you would need to know.
I think he would have been given like an overall education, like the major players, and just a basic like, this is kind of like the etiquette that you would be expected to follow. Because there was always an expectation that with his studies and everything, at some point he would probably, if not be sent directly, like his travels and studies would likely find him here sooner or later. So he would have been, I think, prepared, but not a full list of like everybody who lives here or exists here, I guess.
Yeah, so for example, that Archon, who is Lord Lysombra's seneschal, is still in Palermo, right? Like, he was in Palermo doing stuff, so he is obviously not here. So this is obviously not him.
Right.
And
Right.
you would have been at least kind of briefed in, like, given a like quick primer on the general identifying characteristics of Lord Lysombra's major childer that run his court for him, right? Like, he occasionally makes an appearance, but sometimes he's just being, very, very wise old man in the shadows kind of thing. But his the major children of that he himself has turned run his court, and one of those individuals is Bucephus. who is, you would know, is like younger than Montellano, who is the Lord of Spain, right? Like he runs the Sea of Shadows, he runs the Court of Shadows in Spain. He's dealing with the small Reconquista problem, but he is older. He is definitely older than the most current infamous child of La Sombra, which is Gratiano, and Gratiano is the youngest child of La Sombra. He's only like 100 years old at this point. He's infamous in being the youngest child of La Sombra and kind of a whiny brat at this age of his existence. He will be a bigger problem later in the history of the La Sombra clan, but right now he's kind of in the whiny brat stages of, my dad is La Sombra and I'm 100 years old. Well, you're 100 years old, and there are people who are lower in generation but are older in age who would probably want to kick your ass but can't because, you're the current favorite. But Bucephus is known as a Greek. He was a philosopher warlord. He, very well educated, but also your prince would probably like him because he could kick ass with a sharp stabby stick.
Excellent.
And he's not actually holding the door. There's a minion for that, He's just kind of standing there like, and you are, as you introduce yourself and your...
Yeah, so assuming I recognize who this is in that case, given
he's very well known for his aesthetic, shall we say, of a more using the term like a very sensual aesthetic on a gentleman for whom does not care, right? Like he fully embraces the aesthetic of looking like he's attempting to seduce everybody in the room, but he doesn't actually care about it, and he uses it for his own political gain for a variety of reasons.
So I feel like I've got a couple. I've got like 2 dots in politics. So I feel like it's during the trip here, and especially since we had an extra delay and probably nothing to do in the meantime, Siraj would have imparted onto the prince and Marozia sort of like, hey, these are some of the people we might expect. So that when he realizes who this is, he would use whatever the proper honorific is. I'm going to go with my lord for now.
Yeah,
right?
probably.
Sorry, could you repeat his name again? Was it
Bucephus?
Bucephus, got it. So he would again kind of actually take, again, not the full kneel that he would do before Lord La Sombra itself, but upon realizing that he is like one step away, he would still sort of like, again, present proper respect as he goes, my Lord Bucephus.
It's okay. I understand. Most people are going to say Bucephus because that is how the English pronunciation, but technically there's no C in Greek.
No, and English and Spanish for me, and in both is Bucefa. So like, my instinct is to do it that way. No. But my Lord Bucephus, my name is Siraj al-Andalusi. I was given a task by Lord La Sombra's servants in an investigation upon the matter of a release of a demon in Palermo, and I wish to bring the current results of that investigation to my lord's presence, and I have brought for that both the newly risen prince of the city and Prince Tybalt the Bastard, and my fellow council member within the city, Marozia, please. This is, of course, and again he was my Lord Bucephus, child of Lord La Sombra, and out of character, whatever other titles would be like, Child of Shadows, Dancer in the Shade of, whatever other titles would be appropriate.
Interestingly,
If he has any, and if he
he's like
doesn't,
the
then
war.
fine.
He's a Greek tyrant,
Mhm.
tyrant of Greece, and philosopher sage would be like kind of the things he would be thrown around. But he's not. He's a very you know not one to be overly like walks that fine line of doesn't really care about titles personally, but recognizes why they're important and doesn't turn them
Mhm.
down.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not a full like sycophant level recitation of titles, but it is very much like Siraj is being a stickler for protocol and politeness at this point. He very much recognizes he's like, he's not here to give anybody lip,
Yeah,
basically.
just go through the formality.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And then with that, he would kind of like take a step back because as he just presented, he is here with his prince. So within this context, like he would be, a step behind the prince.
Mm-hmm. So as you greet him, he will nod appropriately and then nod, look to the prince, who definitely stands out, right? Like he not a small fella. He takes up a lot of space. But interestingly enough for you, Tybalt, the door to this space is definitely large enough to accommodate you. In fact,
That's great news. Um, and I suppose he'll lead the way.
yes, Lord Bucephus will lead you. Will kind of glance at the bodies you're bringing and like raise a hand. Not even snap his fingers, just raise a hand and gesture with a finger and then point to have, a couple ghouls come attend and carry the litters of the with the how many bodies did you bring?
I mean, I don't think it's a good idea to split up the ritual corpses, and I I mean, Siraj would have definitely voted to bring like both the corpse of Marotius X and the ritual corpses because he would have, any trip longer than a day, he wants to continue studying the ritual and see what else he can figure out. But I'm I'm not the prince. I can't be overruled if the princess don't.
So how
So
many dead bodies did you bring with you?
Your call, Tybalt. What did we bring with
Um,
us?
thorough
All
or
of them.
oh,
I
All the
feel
dead
like
bodies.
in order to make the best
secondary
case that
card.
we can, we would have all the ones that were delivered to us.
So at least a couple of trunks full of bodies, basically.
Yep. Well, one, remains in a burlap sack, and 4 bodies that are still staked that are probably kind of like you probably had like a luggage carriage that followed you kind of thing.
Mhm.
I mean, we didn't really have to worry about their comfort, at least, or
Yeah,
anything. So
corpse wagon can come back.
And so the minion would have the minions would descend upon
Mhm.
the collection of bodies and proceeded to bring them inside.
5 whole
And
bodies. Exciting day to be a minion.
so many bodies, and just there would have been like a hissed comment if somebody like attempted like bobbled or something, like moved it awkwardly,
Mhm.
no.
Yeah, probably
not
very
those.
very forcefully said they must remain staked. Do not touch anything.
Mm.
Do not just transport them.
Proper care and feeding of the stake bodies. Do not mess with the stake bodies. These are research stake bodies.
Yeah, Lord Lasombra will be happy. He likes research. He likes, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
And as you bring them in, he will bring you through these echoing chambers and these stone floors where your steps kind of rattle along. And as he does so, you kind of get the sounds, right? You hear dissonant sounds that are just wrong, echoing from around chambers around you. There's the hint of electricity in the air, hint of energy, and the shadows all seem to move independently of each other. They just keep moving around. There is no rhyme or reason. It's disorienting. It's strange. The sounds and the lights don't match. All of these are overwhelming at one point. And he kind of is leading you straight ahead, but as you realize after a while that there's a slight curve, just the slightest, barest hint of a curve, and the slightest, barest hint of a slope as you proceed down what you realize eventually is this curving ramp. After 5, 10, 15 minutes, time is disorienting. It doesn't seem real. You approach another large set of doors. The torches on either side seem to actually be hung from the ceiling in these great oil kind of lamps, round and brass, but there's no smoke coming from them, even as the shadows that these lights are producing kind of spin around and move independently along the walls themselves. Almost like a moving lantern show. Or is it a show? And these big, large, heavy doors that stand about 20 feet tall, banded in iron. A gesture, and the doors swing open, and a individual enters before, kind of like open, as the doors open, kind of stands out in front of you, in front of these doors, almost as if he was kind of like standing behind them and wanted to be nosy. He looks young. Very Italian looking beard, goatee, dark eyes, dark hair. But he looks young. He looks intelligent, but there's a look in his eyes. There's just something off about him. And Bucephus raises an eyebrow as he kind of looks at him and is like, Graziano, announce me. And I'm not even going to make you roll for it. There is a definite displeasure between Bucephus's approach. It's like, nah, I don't really like my brother. He's kind of an asshole. That's kind of like the vibe that you're getting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not getting in between those two.
Yeah. He's also small. He looks a little. There's like a kind of youngest sibling smirk on his face. Um, definitely fully into the, yeah, uh-huh. Daddy likes me best. 100-year-old whiny, but he doesn't say anything, but there's this whole general air as he kind of turns, pushes one hand on the door to push it open even wider, and strides down this long hallway, a large central hall, where you can just Siraj can see perfectly. Everyone else can just barely make out a large throne. This is a throne. Draperies behind, very large, ostentatious chair with that seems to almost be carved into the rock around it. Large armrests on either side, and a figure not quite lounging indolently, but kind of definitely leaning back and surveying with an pensive air the many people that have just kind of shifted to the side as the doors opened and Graziano proceeded to lead. There are Lord Lasombra is holding court, and there are plenty of Lasombra here to, make their various pilgrimages, try and get uh their creators' attention, trying to play the politics, and he's watching all of them, leaning back, thinking, as you are led by, well, both Graziano and Bukefis. They stop, and Graziano kind of moves off to the side, standing at the bottom of the riser, off to the far side of the stage that this throne is on. And Bukefis, in Latin would introduce you. Right? Like, it could be Latin, it could be Greek, but in this case, he's introducing you in Latin. Fully. And then he will stop and say the exact same thing in Arabic, and stop and say the exact same thing in Greek. And then when he finally gets through introducing all three of you, he will turn and look to his father and creator, and you will see Lord Lasombra. Again, dark hair, dark eyes, heavy beard, a more weathered and chiseled visage, a heaviness in just his expression, and he lives in half shadow, right? Like, even though there is a hanging lantern above and to the right of his chair, that doesn't brighten his entire face. It's always almost in half shadow. And he looks with a questioning eye. So, you are Prince of Palermo.
Tibet will nod.
And you were the one I gave a direction to. As he points to Siraj.
Siraj at this point does, in fact, like prostrate himself fully and properly. The rest of the group would have noticed, as we were approaching, Siraj should have actually looked very, very nervous. But as he was, as everybody else was kind of being oppressed by the shadows, he was seeing like this place and into what is him, its true glory, lit by those shadows, and made beautiful and glorious. So he's been like kind of like walking on cloud nine the whole time here. Not that he's unaware of the danger he's in, but he's dreamt, or I suppose he's had prophetic visions of coming to this place. It is a bit of a spiritual experience for him as a sort of shadow fanboy weeb, as we've established. Um, but yeah, before Lord Lasombra himself, he very much like prostrates himself and goes like, "Yes, I am, my lord."
Hmm. And he kind of acknowledges Marozia. Huh. And then turns back to Tybalt. You have something you wish to tell me.
I do. We believe that we have discovered what you were looking
Go on.
for. And then he'll take the dead bodies, if it please you, and then remove the parts from the satchel, lay out all of the like the main one with his face ripped off and all the other corpses. We believe we have found the culprits that was causing such a ruckus in my domain.
Huh. And then he kind of like turns his eye to Siraj, but keeps listening. So you've brought me a body
Several.
and a ritual.
We believed that one of our team that was hunting these individuals was a gangrel and lost control.
I have a body that tells me that the gangrel didn't fully lose control. And this, and he gestures to the 4 female presenting corpses. What is this that you bring?
Part of what the headhunters had delivered to my domain.
Hmm. You come yourself, but I gave this job and task to this one. Why?
Well, because to be fair, his name is Siraj, and I asked him to be on my council after earning the position as prince, and considering he is on my council, and this happened in my domain, that I take responsibility for the things that go on in my domain.
Hmm. And you are positive that this one, he kind of like gestures with a finger and a shadow kind of like shifts the corpse of Ludovico, as if somebody like nudged it with their toes, but he's just leaning back in the chair to do so. That this one is the one who broke open the abyss on my island.
To be completely honest, no, I am not sure. But all the signs point to yes. It is hard without the face.
Throughout all this, Siraj is kind of like he's remaining silent. He's not like giving like, oh, let me answer anything. But he's mostly kind of like focusing on waiting. But he's very much like will not speak until and unless spoken to.
And he will glance. Lord Lasombra glances across the three of you, and for a minute you feel the weight of his gaze on each of you. And then he looks down at Siraj. Your prince came, Ezin's honorable. I think he will do well in my service. But you have a report for me about the task I gave you. And you're 7 days late.
Indeed, my lord. And I wish I had more to offer other than apologies for my inability to meet your deadline. But it was not for a lack of effort or lack of resource. My prince, and truly at this moment I find myself proud to call myself that, has stepped forward and taken responsibility along with me for this task and this investigation. Investigation, my lord, which I must admit is still ongoing. But I would like to present where I am now. And I bring to you not just this evidence and these corpses, an ongoing investigation, frankly, mostly unrelated. I simply did not want it out of my sight. But I did want to bring you both the results of my investigation so far, and of course, the only two surviving witnesses to the moment when it happened, my prince and my fellow council member. You see, according to my investigation, and of course, according to the testimony from my esteemed council member, Marozia, these box, out of character, apologies, the box, they took the box, right? Or did I still have possession of the box myself? I'm
showed it
kind
to
of confused as
Archon.
to what.
You showed it to
Yeah.
Archon, and because there was nothing for him to like, you also gave him the notes that you had taken about the box.
Yeah.
But he didn't actually take the box himself because he was staying in Palermo, right? Like, and
Okay.
he gave
So-
you the
so-
he gave you the task, and so they didn't take away the one piece of evidence that you knew.
Cool. Yeah, I just wanted to confirm because I had a vague memory that they might have taken the box, but okay, cool. So
it was
in that
discussed,
case, like at
but
this,
it was handed back to you.
cool. All right. So Siraj would at this point like produce the box like wrapped, and even though he's already multiple times confirmed that there's no further enchantment on it, he's not taking the risk of like presenting a potential weapon like in front of his prince anyway. So it is a wrapped package with like several like sigils outside, kind of like the magical equivalent of like danger, do not open, etc. But he would produce the box at this moment, and basically, my lord, this is the box that contained. This is the box that was opened, and well, I have verified multiple times. It still bears the mark and the taint of the abyss upon it. It is, if nothing else, the weapon, or at least the delivery mechanism for the weapon. And then he motions without looking at the corpse and goes like, "There is no such mark on this man, and yet I can say with certainty that it was this man's order and influence that caused this box to be in the Lady Marozia's possession. Their actions from there, well, everything else came from there. But I believe, and along with our investigations, that whoever it was, individual, organization, that prepared this trap is most certainly not in Palermo. Our strongest suspicions are now in Rome. I would, if my lord will allow, of course, like my companion to give her version of events and to explain how she came to be in possession of the box, and perhaps present additional information before this court that would help us find the source. So again, my lord, while I understand and accept that my efforts have not been complete, I have not delivered you the actual individual responsible for this. I have delivered you the results of my work so far within my capabilities. Even my training can do only so much against the fury of Mount Etna, yes? And so I place myself, as always, at my Lord's mercy, and I hope you will hear the testimony of my councilmate.
So you can roll me charisma persuasion or manipulation persuasion.
Sure. I'm gonna go with charisma. They're the same, but in this case, he was being pretty sincere.
Yeah.
So I'll go with charisma. And I said persuasion. Do I have persuasion?
Or expression. Expression, sorry.
Okay. I do have a dot of expression, so I'll take it. So that is.
I mean, you can always spend willpower.
You know what? Yeah, actually, thank you for the reminder. I think I will. Do I still? Yeah, I still have them. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Remember, you
yeah.
get willpower back at the end of a scene if you act with your nature.
Yes. Which, aside, as a pedagogue, I would imagine, like, I kind of am. I am gambling like my case myself.
Yeah, like you probably would have recovered one because you were explaining a bunch of stuff about the etiquette of meeting
also
Sombra
during the all right, so
in the cart,
so I'll unmark this one because, or I guess there we go, I'll unmark this one because it's the one I would have spent now if I recovered one during the journey. So cool.
Yeah.
All right, so just spend the willpower. Let me make the
so you have one automatic success.
Yep. And nope, that's it. Helps if I actually type /roll.
Yeah, you can just also
Oh boy,
type...
thank goodness for that success.
Well, technically,
but, okay.
you had 2 successes there.
Yeah, true. And a third, so 3 successes.
So
on
3
my,
successes.
Please don't eat me, boss. Roll.
Yeah, no, he is. You feel the weight of his gaze, but you don't feel anger in that weight yet. You feel, okay, you've brought me an explanation. Not everyone is me and can just travel through the abyss as they want, or shadow travel and teleport. Okay.
To be fair, I am working on that, but not there yet.
But you're not there yet. Okay. And then he will turn the full weight of his gaze onto Marozia. So tell me, young Rose, why your sire had this box.
I honestly do not know why he had this box, but what I do know is it was sent to me days before the Elysium with specific instructions to bring it to him. And with the hold he has on me, I followed those orders, brought it to the Elysium, secreted it there. And during the course of the event, I noticed that the box itself wished to open, and with all of my shut, managed to keep it closed. I could not find him to give him the box. But as the night went on, I got the distinct feeling that this was never meant to be delivered to him, that I was meant to hold onto this box. And whatever was in it, whatever was kept in, was meant for someone is for the members of the Elysium, or maybe it was just for me. And with that discovery, I heard him play. But he had warded himself from me. He had placed himself in a place I could not cross. I am repelled by the running seas, oceans, anything. It's one thing that he knew that I would willingly not pass. And he knew it because he brought me here. Trapped me here, knowing that I could never leave here. And in desperation, I, looking at Tybalt, asked the prince to carry me over, because I could not make it. I did not want whatever was going to come out of that box to be in the midst of Elysium. I wanted to find him. And he brought me through bone, cracking pain. Every ounce of it was on fire. And when Tybalt brought me there, he was there waiting, surprised. Probably hoping that I had, from what we come to discover, perished with the contents of that box, which it did happen. And thankfully, the bravery of my prince bore the brunt and saved me from the worst of it. He knew what it was and saved himself. And that's all I know.
I need you to roll me a manipulation subterfuge.
Okay. And I have those 2 dice, right?
Mm-hmm. You do have those 2 dice that you saved.
Okay.
It's a very good use of those 2 dice that you
Okay.
saved.
And I'll use a willpower.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So one
Was it,
automatic success
so what was it? Subterfuge and
and a manipulation.
manipulation, subterfuge. Okay.
Yeah, you're straight up.
9. Yeah, okay. Let's do it.
One, two, three, four.
Okay, that's a lot of. Okay, there's only
4,
one.
but you have a and you have a 10 to reroll. Five. But he gets to roll against you.
Yep, that's probably.
He probably has a lot of dice.
He probably has a lot of dice. I'm not.
Yeah.
She's trying her.
Oh, plus this 1 success.
Okay, so that's 6 successes.
Wait, hold on. I have to count.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
5, 6.
Yes, by the way, there is a character sheet for
It's probably incredibly high.
He did not actually roll that well.
That's a lot of ones.
It is a lot of ones.
There's a 10 in there though. Oh dear God.
Oh,
Oh no.
yeah.
Okay.
But
2, 3, 1.
So that's 6 successes.
So 6 and 6, defender wins.
Yeah, defender wins.
Which is him.
Yeah, which is him.
Yeah,
Not the
like,
attacker.
I see you celebrating, my
I was
prince.
like, wait, you're
I'm afraid as
celebrating that
as a
one?
council member, I must
Normally,
advise
when
against
people
that.
say defender wins, I get excited. But
Yeah.
sorry,
No.
Jumped
In
the
this
gun.
case, it's who is defending against the lie. He kind of turns and looks at you, and you can feel the full weight of his stare upon you. And Siraj and Tybalt, you both feel that moment when a hunter has turned its gaze away from you and onto its prey. The very shadows in this room stop moving. There is a coldness that permeates the air. Oh, little rose. And for the first time, Lasombra leans forward
Wait 1 second.
and steeples his hands
1, 2, 3.
and looks at
Four.
you. It's never wise to lie to me. So you have an option, little rose. It is a choice that you get to make. You can confess your sins here and now. And die whole. Or we can wait until you feel like confessing. I have a beautiful oubliette just waiting for you. So, what will it be? One, two.
He was a monster and he deserved everything he got. He deserves worse than that pile of mangled flesh.
Oh, little rose, that is not a monster. This is a monster. And he will snap his fingers. And from Siraj and Tybalt's point of view, the shadows swarm Marozia. Marozia, technically, you can attempt to defend against this. Technically. However, I should warn you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's gonna go well.
No, probably not. No, absolutely not.
I don't think it's gonna go well. Just based on the pure number of dice involved. But you can try
No,
to
yeah.
roll technically it's strength occult to not get banished into a prison in the abyss.
What?
Excuse
So
me,
what is
swallowed into an abyssal prison.
this? And this is a thing that happens like instantly, like
Yeah,
shadow.
you can't intervene. This is the shadows from his point of view. The
Mhm.
shadows are literally, he's just dropping a cage on top of her, basically, of shadows. She can technically attempt to push them away with strength occult. I'm sorry to do this.
Can I say something before?
Oh, you can, yeah, but you can also.
I'm not gonna roll. I know Maro's not built for this.
I mean, you
You might roll all tens. Just
might roll all tens.
I don't think she is.
Worth it. I feel like it's
That's-
worth a shot. Miracles
what
can
would
happen to
happen?
1,
vampires.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
That's a lot
9,
of-
10, 11, 12. 12 successes.
Oh God. And what was just for shits and giggles? What is the?
Strength and occult. I mean, if you had true faith, you could theoretically use it against this. But
You know she doesn't have true faith.
of course not.
No. I mean,
That's not actually bad.
that's not the worst roll that she could have
No,
made.
you
Noble
succeeded
effort.
on every one of the dice. That is 4. But you are like, as he says that and snaps his fingers, and this cage of darkness from Siraj and Tybalt's perspective is almost instantaneous. But you, Marozia, have this moment. You can feel like the lengthening of time. And you realize that that lengthening of time is a connection to La Sombra. He is purposefully lengthening the time that you're going to experience this. And so anything you want to say, only he will hear, but will be known.
If she was sitting, she would stand and just say, bite her lip. I'm glad he went to hell first, and then spit in the direction of the corpse.
And at that moment,
Spit blood, and yeah.
At that moment, this crushing blackness descends upon you, and you are pulled away into a private abyssal prison in Oubliette. We'll come back to that, by the way. But from Tybalt and Siraj's point of view, it's almost instantaneous. The shadows just subsume her. And Siraj, if you look, because you can still see in the perfect darkness, that instantaneous happens, and then like a half a second later, there's like a spit of blood on the corpse of Ludovico that you kind of see appear. And Lord Lasombra turns, still straight up, right? Like now he's not leaning back. It wasn't like he was indolent before, but before he was just kind of relaxed. Now he's straight up and looking at Tybalt. So, my Prince of Palermo, you did succeed in your task. You brought me the traitor who released the demon on us. Good work.
He'll glance briefly over to Siraj to try to gauge.
When you look at Siraj, he's just got a the tiniest little smile on his lips. He did not jump. He did not seem surprised or alert or react poorly to what just happened. He basically stood there. When you glance at him, he's just got the tiniest little hint of a smile. But otherwise, it's not reacting and not adding. He's still sticking to the will not speak unless spoken to Daddy's home.
And And for further reference, I'm sure you would have mentioned the fact that you're going to see La Sombra and he's known for eating his own kindred. If they displease him.
Yep.
And there's no remnants left of like that shadow cage at all. It's almost as if Marozia was never there except the spit of blood.
He literally subsumed her into a private prison in the abyss. He transferred her, moved her through dimensions. It could have been worse.
No. Sure, but that is not how I thought things were going to happen.
And there's like a slow rise of like a grin on his face. You are witty. My child Siraj will do well to advise you. You picked well for an advisor on this island.
I think I picked well for both of my advisors. I unfortunately just lost one of them.
We'll find you another one.
Marotia's abilities complemented mine very well. I would like her back.
I don't like, and I would like not to be lied to.
What vampire do you know that has no self-interest? She was protecting herself in order to serve you better. Not all lies are worthy of banishment.
But bringing a demon in the attention of the church to my island is.
The attention of the church will come regardless of whether or not there is a demon involved or not.
Possible. But this is a statement of fact. And you plead for her.
She was on my crew.
Loyalty. I understand that. It can be useful.
I also understand how power works. And she is set to serve an amount of time due to the weight of her transgression. Just know that I'm going to do my job to the best of my capabilities, and I would like her back.
We shall see how you do in a year.
Tybalt will bow his head gently. Not a full bow, because this is where Marozia would tell him what to do. And he doesn't have that anymore. So, and then he will turn around and begin walking.
And as you walk out, Lord Lasamra will make eye contact with Siraj. And gesture. And then make eye contact with Bukefis in the back of the room. And Siraj, you would see this because at this
Yeah.
point, Tybalt's back is to. He just raises 3 fingers and then, makes like a little hand sign like he wants a drink. And then turns and looks at Siraj, and says, I think you have work to do, child. Let us see if he can
Oh.
earn that in a year.
So much work to do, my lord. And once again, your wisdom it exceeds all my expectations.
Bukefis will have something for you at the door.
And with that, Siraj as well turns, making the proper bows, and makes his way outside, or makes his way after his prince.
And as you exit, as you get to the doors of the Great Hall and back to this slowly sloping not stairwell, but curved ramp that looks like a straight line. Bukefis is standing there, and he has a small bag for you.
Yeah, step forward and take the bag.
Your studies for the year.
Thank you. He'll check the bag later, but he's not going to be rude and start pawing through it right now.
No, of course not. And then he will also hand you a how to phrase this in like a small, almost like a snuff box, like a little metal, size of a snuff box kind of thing, little trinket box. For information, if you feel a need to contact me directly. And you can feel a portion of the abyss is tied to this box that's tied to something else. Bukefis has turned, has basically turned an instant letterbox, created an instant letterbox through the abyss, through shadow teleportation.
Nice. This one Siraj would tuck in safely immediately, take very good care of that immediately. Thank you, my lord. I will endeavor in all ways to not disappoint.
And you make your way back to Palermo.
So during the journey, honestly, as soon as we're basically out of earshot, Siraj would have turned to the prince, right, to his prince, my prince, I believe you are owed an explanation, and I have every intention of telling you. But after all, this evening went almost precisely as planned, honestly. He sort of leans back, and he's still got his eyes covered. He leans back. You see that his manner sort of relaxes a little. I did not lie at all in my investigation. I showed the prince everything I had. But I showed Lord La Sombra everything I had. And I've shown you as well everything I have. The only thing I had not shared were my doubts. There was something about the Lady Marozia's story that didn't add up. There was also so much of her story that felt true. Their suffering, her anger, there is no denying that. The monster that was killed by those mercenaries, they did your princedom a favor. Whatever else he was planning, this ritual, well, now I turn my full attention to that so that we can figure out what is going on before it can further harm your princedom. But at the end of the day, I knew that something in Marozia's story did not add up. Unfortunately, or perhaps fortunately, you are correct, my prince. You chose wisely. She was a wonderful opponent, and frankly, beyond my capability. I knew something did not add up, but I did not know what. I knew there was a lie, and I knew it was a lie I could not break. But I knew no light could stand before the gaze of my lord. Once she was willing to speak before him, and I did ask her. I did ask if she was willing, and she said yes. And she came, and she spoke before him. And she could have told the truth. And perhaps if she had told the truth, I believe my lord understands vengeance and rage. That is perhaps why, my prince, your request was not denied. We have a busy year ahead of us, and I, for one, truly enjoyed Marozia's company. I look forward to having her back, should you earn her freedom. But that is the advisor that you have chosen, and the advisor that you will hopefully work forward over this, or work towards over this coming year. I will do my best for that, and of course, at the end, always for my lord. She is paying the price for the action she took. But our nights are long and many. 1 year, small price to pay. Let us prove that Lord La Sombra's mercy is something we are worthy of.
Yeah. But it doesn't feel good, Suraj, and I can't imagine a lot of nights moving forward are going to feel good.
That is the nature of power, my prince. You notice I did not run for the position. But I feel it rests better on your shoulders than it ever would have on mine. And I feel, again, a year, not that long. I suspect Marozia may hold some grudges when she comes out. We will deal with those. And again, Lord La Sombra has placed his faith in you. He will provide us with, I am sure, the resources we need.
And we have to find a way to keep a better tab on renegades.
Indeed, my lord. We have much to discuss once we return to Palermo.
What was that? The name of that young knight who helped us. I would like to call for him.
Sir Ludain.
Oh yeah, I know.
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
I'm
no,
just
okay.
making
Out of,
sure.
out of character, I was like double checking. Also, like,
Like, were you talking about Sir Ludain or Sir George?
No, Sir Ludain.
Out of character, talking about Sir Ludain, Tybalt acting aloof.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's like, Suraj kind of like seems a little taken aback by saying, like, well, he did seem pretty adamant against that idea, from what I remember, which probably makes him the right man for the job. Well, I suppose we have a year.
We'll see what difference a year can make.
Excellent. Let us be off then, my prince.
And you were
So, do we go back to Marozia's apartment where we've been camping out?
You know, we'll keep it clean for her.
with
yeah.
her ghoul of a husband?
Water the plants.
Yeah, by the way,
Like, what do I do now? It's like,
she's ghouled
Meanwhile,
her
in the
husband,
box.
who's a noble. So it might be useful. But is you send that message to Sir Dane, you will unfortunately receive a response that he is no longer in Palermo. He left. And while there are
gone.
many people that I'm sure you could argue with, he has gone to London.
And if we know that, what Tybalt will do is continue to send him letters every day until he agrees to be on the council. And that could be a lot of paper.
You or Mithras. We'll find out. You'll have to pry him from the court of Mithras. It's like, yeah, sorry. Mithras he likes Mithras. We'll find out, but you will find somebody. But a year, I will ask questions from Siraj and Tybalt, not Marozia, because we know what Marozia is doing for this period of time. But In 1 week, when you return after you return to Palermo, where do we find Siraj 1 week later?
Um, I think Siraj would have probably used his his sort of newfound confidence in connections to sort of the La Sombra court and family in general, to commandeer a space that he's effectively turned into a lab of shadows, if you will. And he's true to his word. He is a man who is true to his word. He said he was going to focus on this further mystery of the ritual, the staked vampires, and the purpose of this ritual and what's going on, because it's a trap ready to go off, and he doesn't know who the trap is for, what the trap, and what it does when it goes off. So lots for him to study, and that is his happy place. So other than, just the basic necessities or any direct requests from the prince, he has otherwise kind of been out of sight, but you know exactly where he is. He's in the lab researching, trying to figure out what that is. That is 100% his goal at this point. He's moved on. Does he miss Marozia? Yeah, no. If asked, he would say that, but at the same time, well, that case is over. He has moved on to his next case.
And where do we find Tybalt 1 week later?
Tybalt is um, in Marozia's apartment still, uh, sending letters and making decrees um, based on last week's happenings, to try to design a more fluid power structure where things that he does can take effect with haste.
After like 3-4 days of this, by the way, without of these messages going out and decrees kind of going out, Servatius would literally like walk out of your closet, just like remembering, of course, that closet is also attached to the bathroom in all of these southern Mediterranean places. So he'd walk out of your closet in when you were like not receiving guests and look at you and say, if you needed my assistance, you could have just called. Honestly, this level of I have a stack for you. And he like literally brings you a pile of like books that is just, this is who everybody in the city is. This is the way things are going. This is who you need to control these portions of the city, and this is who you need to control to do this. And hands it to you and goes, next time you want information, just call me. And walks back out through the bathroom closet and through the sewers.
Noted. As he begins flipping through all that stuff with a very labored sigh.
It is very detailed intelligence reports on everyone.
That's great news.
Including some interesting reports on you.
He's aware of him, so he's gonna set those to the side.
But it definitely kind of highlights who would be most useful to you in the city, who would be the most biggest problem to you in the city, and a firm recommendation to just, murder 6 or 7 people. That they're just in your way. They're going to cause problems no matter what. They don't like political structure of any sort. Just eat them. Like just eat them. Follow Lord the Sombra's play and eat them. You don't have to, but those are his recommendations. And after a week of this, we're going to flash forward a year. And a missive will come from Castello d'Ombra. Archon will deliver it in person to the court. And, you know, kind of like hand it to Siraj and walk out.
I mean, Suraj would definitely, if he's alone, crack it open and read it. If he's being observed, have his manservant read it out to him. But I'm assuming it's some version of "Come Get Your Girl."
It is a less than polite way of saying that. More of a this is where she will be in about 4 days. As in, she will be inside the Temple of Venus on the mountain outside Palermo in 4 days.
Excellent news, my prince. We're going on a road trip.
Not really. You're just going to his house, outside his house.
Well, yes.
Still counts.
Still counts. Road trip. But yes, yeah, Suraj would very quickly go deliver the good news to the prince.
This is excellent. That must mean we're doing well.
Certainly, if Lord La Sombra has chosen to return her, well, he is, after all, a man of his word. Let us hope that
He continues
whatever
to be
suffering,
as such.
yes, I suspect that whatever suffering she has gone through, well, let us once again hope that she has taken it as a lesson. And he kind of like, he just takes a breath and goes like, no, I should be there. I should be there. She will probably hold some grudges, understandable. But, well, we have done all this for her as much as anyone else, no?
Or right.
So,
And yeah,
I need to turn to Marozia as you make your way out to the Temple of Venus. Marozia, well, for everyone else, it has been a year and 4 days. Time for you is not passed the same. If you could, in the pitch darkness of this small cell, determine time, it would have been 5 years of time. So I need you to make me a roll.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I need you to make me a courage willpower roll.
With the 1 willpower? Where is that?
You know what? I'll let you recover. I mean, I'll let you recover your willpower. So courage and willpower.
Okay.
One, two, three, 4 successes and a 10.
Where are you? 10. Roll that 10. Okay.
5 successes.
not bad.
Definitely not bad. There will be an effect, your choice of how that effect presents after being in total pitch blackness of solitary confinement in the abyss, which you can kind of feel. Like, even if you can't see it, you know you're in the abyss, and the abyss is entirely a different dimension, and other things are, you know, the psychological impact of that is your choice. But you are yourself after 5 years. You have retained your control and your sense of self. And anything else that you want. As you suddenly there is pinpricks of light in the darkness. Stars, columns. You're in a rotunda, small one, maybe 20 feet in diameter. A large brazier sits empty in front of you, and you smell the salt air, hear birds calling for the first time. Night sounds. You know you're back on the mortal plane. And there is someone in front of you. Well, two someones, I guess. I don't know how many other people they brought with them.
I would assume it's just the two of us, unless
Yeah.
Sir Ludain has responded and traveled back down to Palermo.
No, Sir Ludain hasn't. He is really enjoying being in the court of
Anywhere that's not
Mithras.
Palermo.
Mithras is really, he likes Mithras. He's supportive. He's home.
And but Tybalt is persistent.
Yep.
So we'll see how how long. If he likes it forever, he likes it forever. We'll just waste a lot of paper.
Yeah, well, we'll see. But so the two of you, and that's it on your.
I mean, basically, yeah. I'm not bringing in manservant Hecubus.
Okay, I have an honest question. By this year in the time, after this full year, in the timeline. I mean, the only other person would be Servatius. Siraj, does Tybalt know that Hecubus is entirely superfluary?
I mean, no, he serves many purposes. Just
Well,
as a seeing eye person, not so much. You know what? I feel like Suraj would have told the prince, but not immediately, eventually. Like I think if we've been working closely over the year, at some point Suraj would have made the conscious decision, like, my prince, there's something I want you to know about me, kind of thing. Sort of as a show of like, hey, I believe in you and I'm willing to trust you with this, kind of thing, because he's been given, out of character, the motivation primarily being like he was basically given, like, told by Lord Lasombra, hey, I like this princeling, keep him in my good graces, basically. So so Suraj has very much embraced that, and once he for himself decided that, you know what, he's gonna be okay. He's not fucking it up completely. Then he would have revealed that, giving the prince a sort of like, request, like, please do not make this public. I present it as one more tool for your use in your rule. But yeah, other than that, yeah, he would not have brought in his manservant also just for this, just in general, because even if he had still been keeping the secret, just because, again, look, man, he just probably gonna hold a grudge. And his manservant is squishy and full of blood. So
yeah, that
so
might be
no.
another reason you're not sure exactly how hungry she's gonna be.
Precisely.
But you're not frenzying Marozia, so you're not overly hungry at the moment. As you come out, and the prince has come for you himself.
Marozia, it is nice to see you.
Well, I suppose I am getting off easy if the demons were your faces. Or have I gotten lucky?
All right, I'll look over at Siraj. I'm like, okay, she didn't go mad. That is nice.
Oh, you.
See this. her food capabilities, which is honestly very pleasing. And Siraj doesn't step any closer. He's kind of like staying like in a step, like a half step behind Tybalt. But he kind of doesn't make eye contact with Marosia because he is wearing his blindfold, but he kind of like tilts his head in her direction and goes, "It is a pleasure to see you again, and a pleasure to see you as well as you are. Welcome back."
And she's kind of looking around like she's not like entirely sure that am I back in Sicily? You are still here.
Yes.
Yes. This is
What happened?
Well,
you got sent to a shadowy domain so fast that we could not respond to it in any amount of time.
and for this I owe you an apology. Had my skills at the time been good enough, perhaps I would have found a different solution to Lord La Sombra's request. Perhaps I could have seen through your lie myself and kept you from this, but I was unable to do so. The most merciful thing I could do was to have your lie be broken before the light of Lord La Sombra's darkness. For this, you have my deepest apologies.
Well, I am not toiling in eternal suffering, the underworld, and I'm still not in wherever I was. She'll kind of like crane her neck towards Siraj, and was there a catch?
The catch, as I believe it, was what you went through already. The prince, sorry, Lord La Sombra gave our prince a test. He gave you the punishment he deemed necessary for your actions. He gave our prince a test. The price for passing that test, he would return you to us, for the prince vouched for you. When you were taken, he stood. He spoke to Lord La Sombra. He spoke to Lord La Sombra in words that even had Lord La Sombra himself not ordered me to stand by his side, I would have wished to do so regardless. And today, the moment Lord La Sombra kept his own promise, he stands before you, as do I. We've done well this past year. We would have done better with our council member. We will do better, should
And
you still wish us.
Tybalt will hold out his hand to help her up.
And she will take it.
We have a lot of work to do. Welcome back.
And she'll smile, and, well, I guess I do have a debt to both of you.
Not dead. I would rather you work here of your own free will.
No, debt in in sense that I have given it freely. I see the stars again.
Oh,
I am not in there again. And how long?
1 year.
1 year. 1 year. Ah.
No.
And she'll kind of like look, kind of stare off a little bit, like, oh. Well,
Do
what
you need
matters
to
now that
rest? perhaps feed.
Hmm.
Do what you must. We are in your uh, villa. Still,
Oh yes, we've kept it quite clean actually.
Oh, really? Oh, well,
not quite
well,
as clean, but a little bit as clean.
well, I
Don't judge me too
honestly
harshly.
expected them to raise it to the ground and deal with everyone. So minor mess is not exactly.
But also one of the things you notice is that Tybalt had commissioned somebody to make him like dress clothes. So you can imagine this as a shock. You that one part where the Beast in Beauty and the Beast comes out in all the ruffles and finery, and it's still the Beast. You can't mistake it, but he's making an effort.
Yeah. Oh, it's well noted. Like, wow, you've done. Oh, I mean, the fact that you're still Prince and like driving is. Honestly, I don't know why I'm here, but I will help whatever way I can.
Uh, Thriving is a bit of a stretch.
Did you figure out what that ritual was for?
Uh, it's been a year, of course. Prax, telling me how far I've gotten, but I'm assuming I've made some level of progress at the very least, even if maybe not solved the mystery. I don't know.
Roll me a D100
Why not? Let's see.
just to see.
Oh,
I like using Call of Cthulhu rules for luck.
yeah. That's a 7/7.
So you haven't solved it yet, but you've definitely made progress. You are definitely
Okay.
fully aware of the fact of that he adapted certain Roman understandings of sympathetic magic, and that somewhere, probably on this island, but somewhere, there is a tablet that has been buried that needs to be found.
So Suraj would kind of, at her question, he would actually visibly sort of perk up and go like, "I'll be perfectly honest, not nearly as much progress as I would have had I had your insights to assist me. I wish I could have gotten into that man's head before the mercenaries clawed it off. I have so many questions. I figured out some things. I have some leads. There is a tablet. I could tell you about the tablet, but I could use your help." And
Oh,
he kind of pauses as he kind of like almost like realizes as if he can't come to it. I I understand if perhaps you hate me. I understand if perhaps you do not trust me. I will be, as I always have been, 100% completely honest. My loyalties lie first to Lord La Sombra, then to the Prince, then to the Council. I believe you have paid for your mistake. Lord La Sombra has rendered his judgment, and in his eyes, and therefore in mine, you are free of sin. I understand if you should hate me. I understand if you do not trust me. But I also hope you understand that from my part, there is no distrust. I cannot claim to understand fully why you did what you did, but I understand the passion behind it. That is enough for me. You committed the crime, you did the time, you paid for your sin, and now I could use your help. As good your prince, and as good Lord La Sombra.
well, I can't hold it against you if you doing what you had to. There was no cruelty nor malice on your end, so I can't hold that against you. And you're working to deal with that last little bit, and I will certainly help you. So, I'm here, you're here, no hard feelings.
Mr. Raj, you see, like, again, his lips curl in a little smile, and very small. Very well. I look forward to sharing my notes, perhaps on the carriage ride back. You must be stiff.
Hmm. I will say one thing that I maybe don't want mentioned to Lola Sombra. I'd hate to think that is that time, however long it was for me, wasn't any worse than that ship from Naples that brought me here. And she'll smile.
Well then, come then, my friend. You are free of one past. Now let's finish tearing apart the ruins of it, yes?
Mm. To new beginnings. She'll smile.
Indeed. And Siraj would kind of like turn to table. My prince, will you lead us?
He'll just gently nod and walk back in the direction of Marotia's villa.
And that's where we end this chronicle.
Hooray!
Yay.
And
Wow. Okay.
you survived. You didn't end
Yeah.
up eaten.
No.
You just spent like an indeterminate amount of time in an abyssal
Whatever.
prison.
Like it ebbs and flows. What? Who knows?
Yeah, like legit. If
It
you
could've
were
been
to like
anything.
do like the equivalent of an insight check on Siraj, like completely like sincere in what he
Yeah.
said, like it's just like his priorities are very clear. Like I like you, Marotia,
Yeah.
but
I think
Lord La Sombra,
I
Is
think
gonna come to you.
yeah, I
yeah.
think Rotia doesn't like it's Sriracha's job. There wasn't like like she was there wasn't any like malice or cruelty in her pointed toward her direction, and I think that kind of it was Siraj just trying to get to the bottom of something that
Yeah, that's why
yeah.
I wanted to be very clear. Like he straight up apologized. Like what
Yeah.
happened to you is
Like he
because I
didn't
wasn't.
like I think Maritza like Siraj didn't say anything like in the court say like she did it, so it's like
No, like that's the
yeah, it's
thing.
like
Like he's a 100%. Like he's like I really think Marozia is it, but I don't have the proof, and that's why he apologized. He's like, if I'd been good enough to see through your lie, maybe I could have saved you this, but I wasn't that good. So that hence why gave a sincere. The first thing he does is give her a sincere apology. Like
Mhm.
I did what I had to do. If I'd been better, maybe you wouldn't have gone through that.
Indeed. But this is the end of this chronicle for our Dark Ages in Sicily. Thank you to all of my players. Thank you to all of you following along. Thank you to Team High Clan and Team Low Clan for bringing all of this joy. We're going to go around, let everybody say where you can find them, share some love, share some joy. And I will do my spiel at the end because it's a little bit long this week. It is indeed a little bit long. So why don't we introduce or start with the individual directly above me on the overlay, the wonderfully fabulous Billy.
Hello.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. You can find me on the internet at Bill of the Forest on all the things. But yeah, this was a blast. Try to keep it short and sweet, but what a wonderful cast, what a wonderful GM, and what a nice little story we told that was definitely full of Dark Ages drama, which is the name of our game in Roll20.
Look, there are times when I am very witty in Roll20, and then there are times when I'm like, nah, this is just statement of fact. But thank you again for being here, Billy. I understand if you need to bail on us because you are.
I'll stick this one out. It's the last one. I'll stick this one
Yeah.
out. Be a little sleepy.
Okay. And then Lynn, thank you, Lynn, for being here, and thank you for giving me such wonderful toys to play with.
God, Yeah, this was great. This was I enjoyed this so much. I love the the tightrope walk that I had to like trying to interact with Siraj. I thought it was so much fun, and just like trying to like be as like helpful, but also trying to be as like manipulative with yeah, it was good. It was with the with the Tybalt was so much fun. Like trying to the degree that which she's helping, but also trying to like save her ass while and it's just I felt like I think what they did actually instilled like some loyalty toward Tybalt and Siraj.
Well, there
Not
you
just like
go.
and yeah, I'm thank you for so much for having me. This has been great. I love like seeing like bounce back and forth between the different campaigns. And so I love Team Low Clan too. Thank you, Low Clan, for getting rid of my thing, and thank you, Cheaper, for getting rid of my demon boyfriend. Everything came up for Mauritia like off screen for her, and it was just like down to how well she could lie, and she came back eventually. So were there lessons learned? Maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
We will
uh,
definitely see.
yeah. And yeah, I'm Lynn. Gremlin Art pretty much everywhere on the socials. You can find me on 1 on Saturdays for Silent Birth New Gods and upcoming maybe things in the week. We'll see. Give up.
Yep, indeed. And then last but not least, thank you for being here, Dan. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you again to the players both here in Team Lokeland. This was a blast. I had an absolute blast. I came into today's game absolutely prepared to be eaten by Daddy La Sombra. Let's be very clear. But I'm so happy with how it all turned out. Honestly, best of all possible endings. Really, like this could have gone in so much worse in so many ways. And that final roll, because that's the thing, like this was my gambit. I was like, my only chance here, I'm not good enough. I'm like, Marozia has in fact won between Marozia and Siraj. Siraj had no way to himself figure her out. He just knew something didn't add up. So he took one. He took the one chance. He was like, "All right, let's brute force this in the one way that I know will work." And even then, it was like what Barocci like 6 successes, Lord of Sombra 7. It still came down to
No, it
like
came down to 6.
just
It was 6 and 6.
yeah. Oh,
Six,
six and
six, six,
six, right?
six.
Like it
Yeah,
was 6 and 6. It was
Because
and
still
like
like that plan could have failed.
it rolled. It's okay because Marocha can't run. She's
yeah,
stuck on that
Yeah.
island. She can't run. She can't go
That,
anywhere.
to be
So
fair,
she's
that was
gotta
part of the
like
plan. That was
yeah,
part of the plan.
yeah.
So but yes, this was so much fun. The whole thing, the story from start to finish, all the twists, the turns, everything that happened. Trooper and Opera Geeks sort of solo
Mhm.
contributions to this. I got to watch those as well. Those were
Yeah.
brilliant. So yeah, wonderful. As for myself, I'm Uncivilized Dan here on Twitch and pretty much on all the internets. So thank you so much. And my next online being on time thing will be next Tuesday afternoon. Just follow my channel if you like, and you'll get a dingy alert.
indeed. Follow Dan, follow the things. And hey, all, you know me. I'm at Deirdre on Twitter, or Praxagorth as me before you see me around here on Twitch, your friendly neighborhood Prax. I have quite a few announcements, but first, thank you again to my wonderful fabulous players for agreeing to this experimental look into Vampire the Masquerade Dark Ages. I love looking at the world as it actually was and then twisting it just a little to the left by playing with the creatures of the night, as they say, and seeing what things would happen. But first up, some business, right? Like I appreciated. Well, let me do this. The joy first. I appreciated every moment of this campaign. I appreciated every moment of how this is going to happen. I appreciated the fact that Lynn gave me both a demon boyfriend and a stalker sire hatred is flaws. There were other flaws that I was using in this campaign as well, but they didn't But these two kind of popped up in the same kind of way, in the best possible way. And then the best possible way of them ending happened when other forces manipulated situations, so now it was down to the nitty gritty of the politics, right? Like, and I thought that was perfectly played out, that all of these things could be happening, and like you think that you have this thing, but nope, it gets taken away, so now you have to play the politics, and I thought that was very juicy. Also, thank you for Siraj, because he is the perfect case of La Sombra, you know, fanboy that was the best kind of La Sombra fanboy. And thank you, Billy. It's always a joy when I get to have you at the table and all of the fun times. For playing the most awkwardly blessed straight man in this situation. It's like, yeah, okay, I'm a vampire, but apparently I'm now herding cats that are vampires. It's okay. You thought you were doing things, and now welcome to politics.
One of my favorite moments was at the Elysium. It's like, all right, I'll fight you for it.
And everyone's like, wait, what? What do you mean you're fighting? That was perfect. I love that so much. I think it worked so well. But if you missed any of these sessions, if you missed any of the solo session, you can check it out. They're all up on YouTube. Hi, it's even organized into nice little playlists for you, so you can go check those out. If you want to support the channel, I have a merch store. There's a thing. You can go check that out. All of that and the Ko-Fi that exists goes back into running this channel and supporting all the stuff I do here. But that's my quick spiel. Now for the heavier spiel. This is my friend Brix. Brix is from the Fisher House Foundation. This is their mascot. He is very cute. He's also very soft and squishy and very comfy. Brix is excited because this year for Veterans Day, the Fisher House stream team, of which I am a member, is hosting a Battle of the Branches. So all of the funds for Veterans Day weekend, all of our Tiltifies will have a poll, and for every donation you make to benefit Fisher House Foundation, will go to you get to vote on which branch you think should win the Battle of the Branches, and our friend Brix here is gonna, be part of that. And I'm going to be posting a video probably Tuesday, because I have to do some editing tomorrow for it, for a promotional to explain this, and I cannot wait. It's very, very both cute and corny in the best possible way. But I will be running my regular charity stream, but I am officially how to phrase this in a polite way. I have challenged myself this year. I will be running 8 games between Sunday and Monday for charity. There'll be different donation tiers. Donate to give the players advantage, donate to give the players a nat 20, donate to give the GM advantage, and the GM a nat 20. Starting Sunday at 9:30 a.m. and going till Monday, and the last game on Monday will be at 8 o'clock and going to 11 o'clock. However, we are playing D&D for those 7 games. Each game is taking place in a different region in the Forgotten Realms, and we're going to have a lot of fun with that. So come hang out and donate for that. But there is one game you'll notice if you did the math, that they're 3-hour games and they start at 9:30 a.m. and if you did the math, there should be 8 games. But there's only 7 D&D games. That's because next Sunday night we are going to have the last guest solo session in the Vampire Dark Sonno Notte world with my very dear friend Simon, Wandering DM. And this is actually what will close out this game. So we'll come back to that point in a minute. But yeah, there will be a Tiltify link going live probably on Tuesday. You can, all of that will go up, and then the campaign, will start on Saturday or Sunday. We'll be here. Come join us. Come help us raise some money for a good cause. Share, and even if you can't fundraise yourself, or even if you can't donate, we understand. Share the link around. Get more people in. Also vote Team Coast Guard. I'm just saying, you should vote for me and my team. And Lynn's looking at me because she has a road dog in this race too, technically. You might see some of these regular faces on those games, and we look forward to seeing you then. But the final point, this moment, as Marozia is making her way, and Siraj and Tybalt are making their way back into Palermo that night. They go back to the villa, settle in for day sleep. And as the tide turns, a ship docks at noon, sun striking it. Figure glancing around, waiting. The longshoremen and the dock workers work to tie the ship up. The gangplank is extended. This figure stands, gestures to their attendants, walks down the gangplank to the harbor master's office, gestures to the attendant, puts, the harbor master turns and says, "Your name, my lord." His figure turns and smiles. And then looks down. "I am of House Murno," and smiles. And that's where we're going to fade as we come back next Sunday at 8 p.m. to see what the response is when an inquisitor comes to town. So, lots of D&D, and then some Inquisition. But again, thank you everybody for being here. Thank you everybody for staying, and we look forward to seeing you all next week, next weekend. Come hang out. Even if you, again, like, you can't donate, come support for a good cause. Come hang out. Give us the time, your pleasure, and share the link around when it goes live so that you can get more people to support. We are looking to have a lot of fun, but I am going to see if we have anybody up we can raid. Is there anyone we can raid? No, unfortunately not. But we'll see you all next time, and I look forward to be on the lookout. I'll be posting the link on Twitter. You can share all of that and talks live. Until next time, everybody. Bye.